This is Wager Talk's new late show ahead of the spread, where we check out the open numbers, notable line movements, discuss key matchups and angles for the next day. So you have an early edge for tomorrow's games. I'm Ronald Cabang from Wager Talk. You got the one and only Skee Prophet over here co-hosting with me. Before we get into it, we want to get straight into business here. We don't want to waste too much time, but before we get into it, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe button to the channel. If you do that, it helps our show continue to go and move forward. Also, if you drop, we are live as well on YouTube. I think we could see Facebook comments as well. But on YouTube, if you're on that channel, you could drop comments and questions that we could, if we get to it, then obviously we'll put it up on the page here. But Skee, any comments before we get started here?
I had a profitable day yesterday or today, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that Heat result, losing in double overtime like that. It could have been a great day, but at least it was profitable. So
Yeah, I had
I'm
a
still
profitable day.
steaming, so my bad, you guys. It's my fault we were late.
He sat here was like, I ain't starting right now. I can't think about nothing else. No, I had a profitable day too. I went 3-1. The one game I ended up losing somehow. The Spurs, they lost outright. So that was the loser for today. But enough of that. Let's get into the games here. I'll share my screen. We'll look at the odds. Where my screen at? There you go. So this is the Wager Talk free live odds page. We're gonna go in order here. We got tomorrow the Rockets and the Wizards. This steamed up pretty quickly. We have -9 open for the Houston Rockets as road favorites. Total at 225. And that's steamed up to 226. You can see like so this since it's moved up already. I'll let you guys know that I actually did take this, and I did take it at the 9.5 number. I actually didn't think it was going to steam up this high this quickly. But Skee, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, the Wizards are pretty terrible. I'm not mad if you want to fade anybody wants to fade them at all. All I want to say
Mhm.
is Rockets, I feel like have been a much better team at home than on the road. Um, that's where I've been trying to pick my spots to bet on them is more so at home. So that gives me a
Mhm.
little bit of hesitation. I know the Rockets first half, I think on the road has been pretty profitable to the under. I do know I trust their defense and versus a Washington team, they can absolutely hold them down. So maybe a leaning towards first half under, or I do think Houston can cover the game.
Yeah, Washington's also on the first leg of back-to-back games. One reason why I jumped on the Wizards pretty early was Brogdon. If you look at the numbers or the ATS numbers when Brogdon plays heavy minutes, they've covered most of their covers on the season have been in those situations. With Brogdon out, they're only covering less than a 30% record for the season. So he's out. I gotta fade Washington there. I gotta take Houston. Like I said, I did take it at the 9.5. Hopefully, some of you guys jumped on that early. Let's move on to the next game here.
Real quick before we move on, shout out to my boy McKinnis in the chat. He said it's 2 a.m. local time, but he's up. He wanted to tune in. So appreciate you, McKinnis, for tapping
Is
in. And
that,
make sure y'all check him out too.
yeah, is Andrew?
Yep.
Okay, he's in like Canada or something like that. Let's
Yep.
move on to what is the next game? Phoenix and Charlotte. Phoenix and Charlotte here. The total 224 down to 222 at circa 222s and a half. Still available at a couple places. Phoenix road favorites here -4, -4.5 popped up here at Bet Online. So it looks like people are jumping on the under right now. Not much as far as like injuries or anything like that, right? So what do you think is moving this number down?
Well, I mean, it is the Suns are going to be on the back to back, so there is the possibility that people could always be ruled out last second. Why it could be moving down? I mean, if I look at how these teams have been playing lately, the Hornets, I mean, that's pretty much it right there. The worst offensive rated team in the last 5 games, and the
Mhm.
third best defensive rated team. So if they can keep that going, that bodes well for an under. They have been playing more up tempo than I would like for an under game. The
Yeah.
Suns playing at a bottom five pace, and bottom 10 offensive rated team in the same span. And the adjustment that they made to their starting lineup, I mean, we kind of talked about it yesterday. I'm disappointed I didn't have it in my pocket, but it looked fine. Ryan Dunn did a good job defending, and this starting lineup has a little bit more defense. So I think
Mhm.
the Suns' defense will improve as well. Um, I would only play under in this game.
It makes sense if you mentioned the pace of play and also the lack of offense from the Hornets side. Look at their fast break points per game; they don't push in transition at all. So even though they play a quicker pace, 29th in fast break points per game. So I tend to agree to the under as well. Um, let's go on to the next game, which is the Lakers and the Mavs here. This moved pretty quickly from -4 to minus
Yeah,
six
it
and a
did.
half now for the Lakers. The total 225 all the way down to 218 and a half. Kyrie and Luca still out. Gafford out as well now. Skee, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is one where, like, damn, I peeked at it earlier in the day, and I'm, disappointed I didn't go bet it because the under, I mean, it was 224 and a half, and that's not even where it opened, but it was that when I saw it earlier, and now it's down
Mhm.
6 points from there.
It's crazy.
Mavs without Luca, without Kyrie. I mean, it's not really a whole lot of people to put the ball in the basket. The Lakers,
Mhm.
they've been kind of inconsistent as far as, sometimes they look really good on defense, sometimes they don't. The addition of Dorian Finney-Smith does make the defense better. And I think this is a situation where they'll show it because the other side is just going to struggle to score for real already. So I think the market did move in the right direction there. I also think Lakers should win and cover. Um, and if I'm gonna do any kind of an over in this game, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to go back to my boy, AR-15, Austin Reeves over his assists.
I like that. I like that a lot. Here's looking at some of the ATS numbers from the last 10 games. You can see the Lakers 7-2-1 full game, 3-6 overall for the Mavs. And look at this situation here when they're less rested. 0-3 ATS, second and back to back 0-1. These are all last 10 games. Um, yeah, I can't see myself taking the Mavs at any time until either Luca or Kyrie comes back. You mentioned yesterday, remember that query you mentioned with both Luca and Kyrie out, they haven't covered. They still haven't covered, and that was one of the reasons why I added the Grizzlies to my card today. So I can only look towards the Lakers. Let's go on
The chat,
to
real quick, Dave.
yeah.
Appreciate you. He's reminding everybody hit the like button. Definitely helps out the show if you guys could do that. The algorithm and all that stuff. So appreciate y'all.
For sure. All right, so what was it? Minnesota and New Orleans is the next one. We got Minnesota -5 open as road favorites here. We were seeing -5.5 at most books. Total started at 224. Circa has it at 221, 220 and a half at DraftKings. There's still some 222 and a halves available, but this is moving quick. Just right now, 219 and a half at bookmaker. So a lot of steam coming down on the under. Um, Looking at situational notes, it's probably this fatigue right here, right? Second game of back to back, third game of fourth and sixth, first game of back to back for the Pelicans. I mean, well, what are your thoughts on this one? Are you agreeing with this steam to the under?
I don't know that I can. I feel like we kind of talked about this either yesterday or sometime recently, where when it's this kind of a spot, do we think it's the offense drop off or do we think the defense drops off?
Yeah,
Minnesota's been they're capable of playing defense, but they haven't been playing the greatest defense lately. Last 5 games, they're 27th. So I kind of think the defense drops off. I don't really agree with the market coming down for an under. As far as the
Mhm.
side goes, I know it's only been, the Pelicans just played Washington twice, but they did look better. They do have the rest advantage. So combination of those things and Minnesota, they've been traveling like every single game, right? So
Yeah,
I just think it's not a Minnesota spot. It's definitely a Pelican spot. Last 5 games, numbers say they've been a better offense, the better defense, and I think that'll be enough to get them to cover here.
looking at the total numbers, right? If you look at opponent team totals, Timberwolves giving it up. So are the Pelicans, 8-1 to the team total over for their opponents in the last 10 games. Or sorry, 8-1. I think that should be a one there. 7-2-1 for the Pelican side. So they are giving up a ton of points. So I don't know about that steam to the under either, unless we see some type of positive regression on the Minnesota side for defense. This one, I'll probably stay away from this one, but I would probably lean towards fading the Wolves. As far as from the spread perspective, just a whole bunch of fatigue to think about there. Let's move on to. Well, we only got 3 games. We're going pretty quick here. So Atlanta and Utah, we got -5.5 open, -6 now at most books. Sorry, -6.5 at most books. You could still get some -6s at Caesars and Circa Superbook. Total 235.5. The total is kind of all over the place. You see a 234 at Superbook, 236 at most other places there. If we look at some of the situational notes, the Hawks, they do have the rest advantage. The Jazz, third game in 4 nights, also in a letdown spot here. They did get the a 13-point win over Orlando as 9-point dogs. What are your thoughts on this one, Skee?
Yeah, for the injury report, at least you have both Bogdanovich and Trae Young probable, but they're going to be without Jalen Johnson in that one. So that is a
Yeah.
big loss for Atlanta. For Utah, looks like no Clarkson, no Keontae George, no John Collins, and Markkinen is still questionable. So a lot of pieces could be in or out. I feel like, and I'm just double checking here. Yeah, the Jazz, they've been playing decent basketball lately, or at least they've won a couple straight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to go against that. But you talk about third game in 4 nights, missing a couple guys. Hawks really rested. Hawks, I feel like a team that, well, they did. Well, actually, I say that they've lost 3 in a row, but they were
Mm-hmm.
playing pretty good basketball before that. I think with the being off for a couple days gives them time to work on whatever they were messing up on the previous couple, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they can take advantage of a maybe tired and shorthanded Jazz team. So it's tough a little bit just because Hawks also are a team who sometimes they play defense, sometimes they don't. But in this particular spot, I think they'll play enough to get the cover.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Atlanta's the side here. I think when you talk about all the injuries on both sides, it definitely seems like Utah is missing a lot more pieces than Atlanta. I know Jalen Johnson is a huge part of this Atlanta team and how they move defensively, but that's a lot of offense that you're missing on that Utah side, especially if Markkinen ends up being ruled out as well. So I definitely agree with the Atlanta side there. All right, so we have Boston and Denver. This one's really funky. So -5.5 open for Boston as road favorites. This has come down to 4.5. I was actually watching this line a lot earlier, and it's going all over the place. It keeps going between -4.5 to -5.5, and just keeps fluctuating. So I think there's like movement on both sides here. The total in Denver is 236 at open. Still have some 236s available, but 235.5 at Circa, Superbook, and Caesars. Some of the situational notes. Fourth game in 6 nights for the Celtics. Nuggets, they are the more rested team, but this is the first game of back-to-back. And they're also coming off an OT game against the Spurs. Fourth straight road game here for Boston as well. What are your thoughts on this one, Skee?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this one a little bit more. I am supposed to talk about it on a wager talk today tomorrow, but the Celtics they have been playing. I feel like every day, but the Nuggets are off an overtime game, but they had 2 days off. So do we
Mm-hmm.
really want to weigh in that overtime game? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Um, they're coming off 2 games that were under games versus San Antonio, but prior to that, like every single game was like 250 range. I feel like for this Denver team, yeah, even one of them hit the 280s there. So
Mm-hmm.
they're a team that is playing more up tempo than we're accustomed to for a Nuggets team. They're still not playing the best defense and very efficient on offense. Celtics, It's just what mentality are you going to get, because they're more than capable of playing amazing defense, and they can score with the best of them, whether they're locked in or not. So them coming off of a loss, I think they'll be very focused for this game. And
Mm.
so I'm kind of conflicted. I guess I need, what do you think about coming off of overtime, but you're rested? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, that one's really tough. I think both teams right now are on like in bad spots, in my opinion. I know they face. So if you look at Boston, they played three physical teams or two physical teams, Houston and OKC defensively. So that takes a lot out of them. Like you said, they've been playing a lot. This is the fourth game in the row, fourth of the last of a 4 game road trip. And then you look at the Denver side; they're coming off of two straight games against the Spurs. They did have the travel. Um, for both of those games there, and it was in OT. I know you said you mentioned that extra game there, but I think that's a tough schedule spot in my opinion, just because um, still I think it's still a tough because it's sorry, it's OT plus travel. Um, Home, road, home, right? So there's a lot to think about from a schedule perspective. But for the most part, I think that Boston, coming off of these 2 games here against OKC and Houston, two top defenses, that made their offense look a lot worse than they really are, in my opinion. So if you're looking at recency bias and we talk about how Denver's defense has struggled recently, I would look towards the Boston side to probably cover here. I think that's the way to go in this one. I think it's if you look at recency bias, that's probably why the number is going in the direction it is.
And just matchup wise, I mean, if we just think about it, like I can sit here and look at it and say, yeah, Boston Celtics. I mean, outside of Jokic, they pretty much can handle and defend everybody on this Nuggets team. I don't feel the same way about the Nuggets defending the Celtics,
Mhm.
and so it's just a matter of focus. And like you said, off of the loss, I think they are focused. So I agree, Celtics should be the right side.
I like it. Also, they don't play until the 10th. They have sack in the 10th, and then Denver they got the Clippers on deck tomorrow. So that first leg of back-to-back games as well that comes into play. Um, all right, so one more game here. We got Miami and Golden State. All right, so
Oh
this
boy,
has this opened up Golden State -7 quickly after OT. This jumped all the way to -9. And the total 219.5 down to 218 at most books. You can still see some 218 and a halves. Um, I know you don't want to talk about Miami right now, but if we look at some of the situational stuff, real bad fatigue spot for Miami. Not only all these second to back to back, third and four, fourth and six, but also OT. Warriors third game in 4 nights, fourth and six for them. But and they're also coming off a loss as a favorite, so a bounce back spot here. They did lose really badly to the Kings. They lost by 30 there. I mean, it would have to be Golden State, right? But I mean, I just it's tough. Like you say on your show, right? It's you don't want to take the what was it, ass into the line, right? Is that what you call it? So
I do.
yeah, it's definitely tough to do that now. But I can only look towards Golden State, right?
I mean, yes, that is the only way I can look. I agree as far as the line is concerned. I'm looking at the odds screen. I know it's early, but it says 91%, 94%. Everybody's going to bet Golden State. And it makes sense. The Heat look absolutely pathetic in this game to end. Between what you said as far as, fifth game and 7 nights, and then not only overtime, double overtime. And this Heat team was up, 17 points in that game? And they just
Mm-hmm.
did everything they could to give it away. Um, they benched Jimmy Butler. They lost by 30 something. They come back the next game. They trick off a humongous lead. They're getting 8-second violations at the end of games to try to close out. This team is not locked in, and I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to be any closer to being locked in tomorrow versus the Warriors. So, only way I can look at this is Warriors any kind of way.
All right. So real quick, since we're looking at some situational stuff, what I put up on Killer Sports right now, um, road dogs, right? The situation Miami's in, zero rest, so second leg of back-to-back games, and they're off a game, OT game, double OT game. Sorry. 0-10 straight up, 3-6-1 ATS since 2018. So it doesn't happen often, but if you're looking at these types of situations, those are things that you want to that I know Skee, you probably look at these types of things too, but you can kind of just dive into a little bit further and say, what if they ended up losing? See what happens there. So again, not a huge sample size, just 0-3 straight up, but obviously I think the Warriors are probably going to win here. It's a matter of, do you think they're going to cover that -9?
I
I
want
wish
you
I
to check
jumped on
something
it
for me really
sooner.
quick.
What was that?
Can you erase previous win and road dog, and then put so and like their previous biggest lead was, I guess we'll say, I don't think they're up by 20, but they're up by 15. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh hell no, Miami
Yeah,
Heat.
look at the lines that we're seeing here. 10 and a half, 12 and a half. They're not covering those at all. They're losing by margin in this spot. That's a good call. That's a good call, Steve. I like it. Dang, maybe Warriors is still a play. All right,
Hey man,
so
it's a one-way ticket for me. If your eyes saw what I saw just now, there's no way you go into the and push and confirm on Miami tomorrow.
oh man. All right, so we went through all the games, the lines. Is there any game that you want to dive further into, or um, that you wanted to tackle? That's gotta be your vision.
I'm gonna be real with you guys, man. Yesterday I feel like we did a really, really good job. Like a lot of the games we talked about, because I wrote what I like down, and I didn't take everything, but a lot of the stuff we were talking about was going through.
hmm
Tomorrow, it doesn't feel like I have that long list of games. So, um, if you're gonna deep dive into something, the ones that stand out to me would be Lakers, Dallas, and then we already talked about this Golden State game. I mean, we don't got to talk about it no more.
Yeah, we
So
dove into that one pretty good. Let's do the Lakers game. Lakers Mavs.
yeah, Mavs just played today. I feel like the Mavs were a big too, weren't they?
They were they weren't they were but they're up early. They were up early, but I think oops, shit, where is it?
Yeah,
There
they
you
were
go.
up 10 after the first quarter.
Yeah, they were up early, and then Memphis. I think they were up by one at half. Memphis ended up catching up. So for the most part, for the rest of the game, it was pretty much Memphis. It was just that first quarter. All right, so let's go to Lakers Mavs. All right, so we look at their situational spot. All right, the Lakers have the rest advantage. Fourth game in 6 nights, though. Second game of back to back for the Mavs. We already talked about how there's no Luka and no Kyrie, and we could pull that up again one more time. They failed to cover again today. They won't have Luka and Kyrie tomorrow. No, who was the other guy that's out? Gafford. Gafford's going to be out as well, so they're really short-handed. Lakers. I don't think there's anyone really notable, questionable, or out. Um, if we look at the season numbers from a spread perspective, actually this is last 10 games. Lakers definitely the better team from an ATS perspective, 7-2-1, 3-6 for the Mavs. Their only situation as a home dog, 0-1. So actually, if you look at dog situation right here, 0-1 as a home dog, 0-2 as a road dog. So this underdog role hasn't been good for them recently. From a stat perspective, last 10 games, Lakers better offense, better defense. I mean, everything's kind of pointing towards the Lakers
Yeah,
side here
DFS,
still.
DFS has been a pretty good addition to the team. He's starting to get a little
hmm
bit more rhythm. When you have more than just one person trying to play defense, everybody starts to, give a little bit of effort. I feel like AD was kind of fed up not having no help on defense, and now you got guys actually trying on that end. So I think they can really hold this Mavericks team down. I did share down there. Oh, you put
Yeah,
it
I
up.
got
Yeah,
you.
you put it. Yeah, you see, they haven't covered one game all season without Luca and Kyrie, and also 4-2
hmm
to the under. So maybe you can put them together. Maybe since the spread is already going up. Well, The total is going down too. I mean, I think they're going in the right direction. I think it's
Mhm.
Lakers. I think it's Mavs team total under. Only way for me to play this game until Mavericks show you some kind of life. Like they just what they look like right now is yeah, we're Luca, we're Kyrie. Without them, we can't do anything.
Yeah. If we look at the Lakers' schedule too, I don't even think it's not even a look ahead either. It's not their first leg of back to back games. They are going back home, but they just play Charlotte. It's not a big game at all. So it's either it's got to be the Lakers or nothing here against Dallas without Luka and Kyrie.
I'm curious. I'm gonna glance at this team total just because I would like to see, even though I know we're getting ass into the line. Yeah, team total open 110.5 is down to 106 right now for Dallas.
Mhm.
Don't really love that.
So I'm looking at the chat right now, and they're saying Kyrie. Are we sure Kyrie's not coming back? The last time I saw something on
1 to 2 weeks.
Kyrie, it said indefinitely.
1 to 2 weeks is last I saw.
Yeah, 1 to 2. Yeah, so I can't imagine him playing
I'm
after
reading it
seeing
right
those type
now.
of
He has a
reports.
bulging disc in his back and is expected to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks. This
Yeah, I
was
can't see him
put
coming
out
tomorrow.
yesterday or today, rather.
Yeah,
So
so I don't know what the other guys are seeing in the chat. But yeah, the most I don't think Kyrie comes back tomorrow. I could be wrong, but most reports are saying it's gonna take a little bit for him to come back. Um,
you hit that Mavs team total under today, right? Did you have that one? I know you mentioned it yesterday.
the Mavs team total. I ended up taking instead of taking the team total under, I took the spread. So
Oh,
it went either way. But I did we did talk about the team total under too. So I would probably look towards Lakers again here.
we're in agreement.
Um, all right. All right. Let me stop sharing the screen here.
Oh, my bad.
Oh no, it's all good. All right, so that's it. We went through all the shows, or sorry, all the games. Our leans, our thoughts on the current line movement. We dove into this Lakers Mavs game pretty deeply here. Skee, before we cut out, I know obviously both of our work over at Wager Talk right now. Things we both coming off a positive day, or things are looking up in the NBA right now for both of us. And you can see it on the bottom, scrolling down there, get a 3-day all access pass for either of us for just $29. Use code ATS at checkout. And there's also some other long-term deals. Tomorrow's $2, not $2, $5 Tuesday on the website as well. So I think everybody at Wager Talk, they have a play available. Their top play is $5. So make sure you guys check out Wager Talk. And also, again, just a reminder, make sure you guys hit that like button if you like what we're doing here. I know it's a little bit different than what you see on the other shows on Wager Talk, but hopefully you guys like what we're doing, showing information, sharing information. So hit that like button, subscribe, so the show continues to move forward. Skee, before we cut out, you want to drop any any leans or anything like that?
Yeah, man. It don't cost y'all a thing, and hit the like button. So just go ahead and click that if you want to keep this going, please. What I'll say is I haven't taken anything yet. I'm taking my time a little bit for tomorrow, but I will shout out, what I'm feeling, I guess, strongest about right now. And just going down the list, you played that first game. I'm in agreement with you.
Mhm.
On the Rocket side, Phoenix and Charlotte, I would be looking at that under 222.5 is the best number I see right now. Lakers, um, I'm still, I mean, it did only move 2.5 points. I think we can still maybe get there with the Lakers, but I need to think about that a little bit more. Golden State minus 8.5, or no, 8.5 is gone now. 9.5, 10 is popping up.
Bro, it's
So
at 10.
it'll probably be 13 by the time we wake up after the way the Heat look
That is
tonight.
crazy.
So I think that is going in the right direction. At least, Warriors should win very comfortably in that game. I like what we said about Boston, and I'm probably not going to get there with Atlanta.
Yeah. So for me, I talked about Houston. I did take it at the 9.5. I can only still look in that direction, especially without Brogdon. They've been losing by margin whenever he doesn't play. Like I said earlier, I think the ATS percentage when he's not in the lineup for Washington, it's like 29% or 28% ATS cover rate. And then what else we talk about? So the other one that I was looking at was Atlanta. I know you said you might not be able to take that one. I was leaning in that direction. I'll probably wait to see, um, if Markkinen is out. I feel like he might not play this game, but I do like Atlanta. I do like the Lakers. Um, Boston, I like. Golden State is the only way that I could look, but man, this number is moving. And I'll probably look at totals tonight as well. All right, that's it.
One more
That's it.
thing. One more
Steve.
thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I said earlier, I feel like yesterday we gave a lot, or at least I know I was talking about a lot too, and a lot of those came through. So some days, you'll see us talk about these games and really, really like a hell of a lot of things. Some days it might be harder to find some stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
just stick around, get a feel for what we're doing here. I'll answer one question from the chat real quick. Just Duro says, "Can the Heat line move too much that you take the Heat?" Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a one-way ticket. I don't care what the line is. I am not pushing the button on Miami.
It's either Golden State or just stay away, right? I mean,
Yep.
yeah, you don't have to bet. That's one thing. Like we have to talk about every game for you guys, but you don't have to bet every game. That's one thing you guys got to keep in mind. And we don't bet every game, so I mean, don't do it. So, especially if you don't trust it. All right, that is the end of the show, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. But like usually I end my shows like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Until next time, peace.